Little lower. What is up, guys? Dave here.
What's up, guys?
Let's make sure we're all good here.
We got Isaac, got Victor, got Jake.
Got John working on
John's over there busy right now.
truck in the back.
Don't interrupt him. He's busy. We're just making sure.
He's busy making miracles happen.
Well, welcome to the first Patreon gang. 3-point slogan, MAA, ask us anything. I don't know, live video / maybe some podcast. I'm not sure. Just making sure over here we're good on, let me see. Just making sure we're good over here on.
Hey, can you turn it down, please?
Yeah, we're trying to podcast and live video.
Hand tools only, no power tools.
Making sure we're good
Gets
here.
louder. Impact intense.
Yeah, we're good. We're good. All right. Okay. Making sure we're good, guys. So welcome again to our 3-point slow gang. Ask us anything. Episode 1.
The last one wasn't an episode?
That one was
a teaser.
It was a teaser, basically.
Oh,
yeah.
really?
Yeah, this is our official ones. They're gonna be about 30 minutes.
Each
Each Tuesday we'll be doing this, guys. So we're here. John, what are you doing? What's going on?
Too tired.
Yeah.
John's been working all day.
Yeah, John's been working all day and
He works hard.
I'm not in the mood right
If
now.
you guys want to, we can do tag team. We'll tag somebody in. And we'll go make some madness happen in there.
Can you guys scoot over? I just scoot that way so I want to sit next to you. Good. All right, guys. So, okay, I'm getting a phone call.
Super bad timing. You should put your phone on mute.
Yeah. Okay. So before we start, we have some things we're gonna talk about, but first we're gonna go over the questions that you guys asked. Let's see here. Christian Garcia, pura raza, of course, pura raza right here. Let's go over. We got 2 questions we got for you guys.
In a snowball fight.
Okay, so the first one was Christian Garcia, and this one's kind of a tough question because, well, we'll get to it. You put maybe setting up a South Texas overland camping spots map. You want me to answer that?
Oh.
So I need to do that. Do like a GPX
For South Texas.
South Texas. I know
Only?
Christian's from San Antonio, so I don't think he knows the valley.
Because I was gonna say there's like there's a lot of great spots up
Yeah.
there. There's like
There's just
there's
too
some
much.
cool stuff to come down for, but I think that's where it's happening up there.
Well, I got some buddies that live in San Antonio.
That
I could
triangle.
actually ask them for some good spots like around the San Antonio area. One of them actually rocks a Jeep. What was it called? I want to say a Cherokee 4x4. He's done the Gambler once or twice. So I want to say he does know some good spots to either wheel or camp, depending on what's your flavor, you know?
Yeah, and what I want to do is I do want to set up like a GPX file of the places that especially here in the valley, there's not many.
The little hidden gems.
Yeah, little hidden gems, and I can share with you guys.
Sal del Rey is definitely worth a visit because it's super unique as a salt.
Yeah, it's
Salt
got,
mine, salt flat.
Where's that?
It's a secret. Can't tell you that.
Well, I already gave it away. Sal del Rey. So.
Yeah, and well, technically you can't really camp there, but it is a hidden gem though of the valley.
Yeah, it's just a cool place to
Yeah.
see, and if you go at the right time, it's really good for like pictures and stuff. If you want to get like something cool like that, you can't drive your truck there. Nothing. You have to like walk. It's like a mile walk.
Yeah, you can walk, but it's
Yeah,
definitely
there's-
it's a salt flat, basically.
Yeah.
Like it's a salt lake, so when it's dry, it's beautiful. But
Yeah.
definitely, there's some other places that close to Rio Grande City. There's a free camping spot area there that's kind of unknown. But yeah, I can definitely set up a thing like that, especially if you know camping spots at the island. You can camp anywhere at the island on the beach side. But anyways, we'll definitely do that, Christian. Pablo asked, perhaps giving some good tips on maintaining a pickup 4Runner if it's necessary to lubricate propeller shafts and steering. Kind of a
Okay, wait. Before we jump into that, I want to add to the other thing that you said about if you just Google 23 secluded Texas camping spots worth a weekend road trip. There's 23 spots, and they're all obviously in Texas, and they're really cool.
Yeah.
And it tells you a little bit about them. I just ran across that the other day, and I thought it was really interesting. There's a lot of places I have been, and a lot of places I haven't been. Most of them I haven't. And They look really
Yeah,
good.
and sticking to that camping theme, like more of the locations that I know are mostly in the hill country. Like we've been camping to a lot of that area because we know from Texas Overland and friends that know that area. So there's a lot of awesome spots in the hill country that are free, some that are private campgrounds, but a lot of that stuff also you can find on Texas Overland. If you go right now and join their Facebook group, they have a lot of the files already there ready to download for Google Maps or
Yeah.
whatever you use.
The information is definitely
a lot
out
of the
there.
trips we go on are because of Texas Overland.
Yeah,
A lot of
and-
locations we've got to experience and stuff is because of them.
Yeah, it's because it's all the knowledge that's being shared on there. So that's on there. You can check it out for sure. And honestly, I know in the future I want to do a video where maybe like a full week, camping trip where we just do all the little dirt roads that are on here in Texas. Like I want to explore just Texas itself. There's just so much to see. It's like we don't have a lot of public land. It's mostly private land, but there's a lot of history, a lot of stuff that you can see.
You'll see there's like surprise things because we did a trip like that where I don't know how far we went, but we did back roads. I was with John.
Yeah,
and his
that was a
truck.
while back.
Yeah, which
we did dirt roads. I tried to do dirt roads from the valley all the way to like San Antonio, and yeah, it's a lot of just dirt road. But like I remember we saw, like, you're talking about that airstrip, or what are you talking about? Yeah, that airstrip.
So there was like that weird thing, and I was like, "What the hell? There's just a plane out here." Like
It was
I
a
was just
fancy
seeing
plane.
ranches and theaters and crap like that, and then you just see a jet, and you're like, "Wait, what the hell?"
It was really weird.
So, it's
And
pretty
the cool
cool.
part was that was a really long drive for us, but those back roads like made it seem so quick.
And
fun.
then we pulled off somewhere, and I remember seeing there was just like some freshly skinned deer, kind of just there on the side. You
some
can see them
weird
from the
stuff.
fence.
Remember
Like,
too, we drove by like a cemetery.
kind of wild.
Yeah, I think that's my favorite thing when driving back roads is seeing like cemeteries and stuff like that, because you pull over and you see the dates on the tombstones, and it can be really old. But yeah, it's just a lot of stuff you can find on back roads, but we can definitely do something about that. And I want to do a series on the channel just on back roads starting here in the valley, because I've done a lot of driving around here in the back roads, and you see a lot of stuff, and it's the most fun is when it's muddy. When it's rained, then that's when it's a little bit more challenging, because I mean when it's dry it's just dirt roads, right? But when it's muddy it's a lot more fun.
It was definitely a lot more interesting than I expected.
Yeah,
before going on that trip.
yeah, you see a lot of cool
It was an
stuff.
eye opener.
Yeah.
What do you have to do? Just turn off on your GPS the setting to not be on the highway?
He
Like
just,
back roads
I think
only?
he just kind of like mapped it out. You kind of picked your own.
You have to
route.
you kind of have to go on Google Maps and you pick the roads, because a lot of Google Maps isn't going to take you through there. You have to kind of do it, which a lot of those dirt roads are farm FM roads.
I've actually always wanted one of those GPS that like you can kind of like do your little layout and it'll keep you on track. That would be awesome, because when you're going, you don't want to be worried about where to turn. You want to be like looking at stuff.
Yeah.
I know there's quite a few heading out to like Harlingen and stuff from like off the expressway heading to San Antonio. There's like a turnoff that like branches off through like a bunch of different roads that eventually makes your way out that way.
Yeah, like the ones I've done is going west to like Rio Grande City, and I love that area because it starts getting really hilly. The valley is super flat. We're not really in a valley, so. But when you start going that direction west, you start seeing a lot of hills, and then once you get to like Roma or Rio Grande City that way, one little random thing that you might not know, but at sunset you can see the mountains from Mexico. Like the only place in the valley where you can actually see mountains. You can see the silhouette or the shadow of the mountain at sunset, which is pretty amazing. But anyways, that's another thing we can talk about later on. So again, Pablo had asked, talking point was perhaps giving some good tips on maintaining a pickup 4Runner if it's necessary to lubricate propeller shafts and steering.
So yeah, propeller shafts. I'm thinking he's talking about drive shafts.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Every oil change, or every 2 oil changes, you can lubricate your drive shaft. And then for the U joints, when you're pumping in the grease, just kind of like usually takes just like two pumps, and then you'll hear the seals kind of pop where the grease comes out, and that's when you know you're full. And you don't necessarily have to make them pop. You can just kind of like 1 or 2 pumps, and if they don't pop, it's okay. You're still probably getting grease in there. Yeah.
But then again, getting the old grease out of there is always a good idea.
Yeah.
You'll see the old grease coming out of the seals, and then you'll see the new one coming out as well.
Yeah.
But I mean, basic rule of thumb. I mean, it wouldn't be a bad idea to do it every oil change. I mean, the only thing you're guaranteeing is that they're not going to fail as long as you don't have like a
Yeah,
center ball bearing.
If you're doing it that frequent, yeah, you can just probably you don't have to overdo it. But
I mean, do those
just
have
I would
center
just
ball
say
bearings? Or only
clean up the
U-joints?
grease after any excess grease
Yeah.
because then it's just gonna
It'll
splatter,
splatter
everywhere. But yeah, I don't do every oil change. I would just say, but I service my trucks frequently, so it just depends. It just depends on your use.
Yeah.
What kind of?
What was this other section?
No,
of the
we
question?
only have the 2 questions for this first.
And another thing, while you're down there, you want to check. So with the vehicle kind of in neutral, if it's an automatic or if it's standard, put in neutral with parking brake off. Just kind of, you can even jack it up and get the wheels free. Just kind of feel for a play between, making sure the pinion's not moving and the drive shaft, and just see if there's any give. It should be pretty solid. You don't want any little, even just the slightest little, movement can mean your U-joints are worn out, about to fail soon.
Or the center roller pins are going out.
Yeah, the roller pins, or and sometimes grease will, maybe it just doesn't have grease, and the grease will actually take up a little bit of that slack. But yeah, it's just something that you'll feel it. You'll know if it's worn out.
And I think we only have 2 questions for this first video. This is still kind of new to us because we never really do live videos. But yeah, just a reminder, we'll be doing these every Tuesday. And I think what's going to happen is these live videos, they get saved on the YouTube account. And I think that what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be releasing these episodes
At a later date.
Yeah, at a later date. So anyone else can watch these, obviously not live, but just a recorded video of it. But today, I kind of like that conversation we're having about the trails and all that stuff. I think that stuff is interesting. You know what? We got a question here. Christian Garcia. Hold on, what are some of the must-haves in overlanding? Okay.
That's a really great question.
That's a good question, but what is the definition of overlanding? What is overlanding to you? Because that's like the old debate. People get really they get real fired up about what overlanding. Overlanding is just car camping. Well, I follow some people on social media and stuff, and when I think of overlanding, I think of them, and what these guys do is, they go drive to South America, or they'll ship their car to Europe or whatever, and that's cool. And then I also think of people,
the weekend lander kind of.
Yeah, kind of like the weekend warrior. And also even think of there's a great YouTube channel, Primal Outdoors. Forgot the guy's name, but he lives out of his little off-road trailer, and he just got a van. But he basically lives out of it, and he travels the West, the United States. And I think of him as overlanding because, he's going out there to these, secluded areas. And that's kind of my dream of overlanding, what he's doing. I'm not really one to want to go travel South America and all that. I'm more interested in traveling the country.
The most that we've traveled, I think, so far as a group is pretty much weekends at a time.
Yeah.
Maybe a week and a half would be the most that we've kind of been capable of.
Yeah.
Not to say that we can't go longer, but that's just kind of what we've been limited to.
Yeah, and I always try to think of kind of the future, and I want to do
Need some parts.
In the future, man, a cool trip would be Canada.
We can talk about it.
Drive all the way up there.
Yeah, no, and my future goals are to do some 2-week trips. Maybe once YouTube becomes more of a full-time thing in the future, where I can have time to kind of leave my other job and do more part-time. But yeah, time is very limited. I know for me with family and kids and work. I know for these guys, they have their own things too. But yeah, we're more of the weekend overlanders. But getting back to the question,
not that we wouldn't do a crazy.
No, yeah, I dream of doing that.
Man, we'd just jump in our trucks and go.
Yeah.
But
the must-haves of overlanding. I mean, if you were in our situation with some old trucks, it's more about just being prepared for them to break down.
Yeah, that's actually the main focus. Just
Yeah.
getting there and then getting back. But
Spare
also,
liquids.
it depends on. Well, we can get into what we take, but what I was gonna say is that it depends on what do you need to make yourself comfortable is what you got to ask yourself. Like,
Yeah.
so you need to do your research where you're going to be, how long you're going to be there. And, just some people need less. Some people, they want something that's going to
They want all this fancy stuff.
pamper them a little bit more, which is okay.
Yeah.
Say like me, like I can sleep on, just pretty much anywhere, just like a little simple basic cot and a foam thing. But some people maybe have back problems or something. So you need a plan to take, okay, so now I need my foam or my special mattress. And so it's things like that you gotta think about. It's just gotta customize it to yourself.
And you learn all that by doing,
Mhm.
all these trips. Like we do a lot of these weekend trips, and you start learning kind of what you want, what you need, what you don't need. Because we all start with having all this gear, and then you now we're having a beach trip in 2 weeks, and I'm just driving my Land Cruiser, and I'm just gonna put a tent. Like I'm not even sleeping inside. I'm gonna set up a tent, and that's it. I just want to go simple.
The beach, there's been times where I've overpacked, and I'm like, oh, I wish I brought less stuff because I just kind of want to, just be simple and not worry about all the extra crap to pull out and load back in. So, it kind of just depends on where you're going, what you're gonna do.
Yeah, it's just it's up to you. Some people like to. I'm not gonna say names, but I know I watch a bunch of YouTubers and stuff. People online, they take so many fancy. All their gear costs more than this truck. It's just insane.
What freaked me out is when we went camping at the expo, the Overland Expo in Lano, and this guy, we all kind of have Isaac has a cot. I had what did I have? Just kind of like a little bedroll thing.
Yeah.
John, same thing, kind of his little thing in his truck. And this guy just has one of those foams from a lawn chair, and it's not even the length of his body. It's maybe 4 feet. And this guy's I was like, no pillow, nothing, just that, no pillow, anything. This guy just crashed out on that.
And I actually that's
the comfort level.
Yeah,
he's at.
And that video, I need to release it. I forgot to release that. I did a video on my setup in the 80 Land Cruiser, and I just basically took a seat out so I can fit. I'm 6 feet, so I can fit, and I use the.
You slept with it open, right? Since you're.
It was Well,
and it was super hot too.
It was humid, so we left the tailgate open. I know we left them all open. But it's just that it's like those padded lawn chairs you can get at Home Depot or Walmart.
You don't even have carpet though. That's the thing.
Yeah,
I could sleep on just a carpet with a pillow maybe, but this guy's just no pillow, no carpet, that's the way lawn chair.
Yeah, I go from that, and then the camper, the pop-up camper that I have has the mattress that's inside of it is memory foam. That's super comfortable. Yeah. But like I said, I think you just learn. You go and do trips. And then you'll learn what are the must-haves.
Yeah,
in Overlanding.
It's more of a find your comfort level when you do those little weekend trips. Do little trips here and there, and then you kind of see exactly what you need because you find out what you're missing.
Yeah,
and it gets more complicated.
What you really need is a spirit of adventure.
It's reconnecting.
You really need a spirit of adventure because, after your first trip, you'll really find out if it's for you or if it's not.
Mm-hmm.
And you find out everything else, what exactly do you need? Are you over-prepared? Are you under-prepared?
Yeah.
And I feel it's not really about trying to prepare for anything that you might need or that you feel you're going to need.
Yeah.
But, it's really about the destination, getting there, actually enjoying the place. Amenities, either being super basic or super extensive, you can really get into it. But it's just really about
the journey. It's about the experience, and I know when we've gone to Big Bend, that's my favorite place. That's just I dream of going back all the time. It's just such a beautiful place. But it's about the experience. I think important for me is to take. I'm not kidding. The important thing for me to take in a trip is the right people. In my experience, if I don't take my friends,
take mechanics.
If I don't take my friends, if I were to go with people I don't know, I'm not gonna have a good time.
The vibes gotta be right.
Yeah.
Straight up not having a good time.
And a setup to shower with. Never underestimate the power of a good shower.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's definitely.
Well, if you got a lady with you, that's more important also. Yeah, that's stuff that I'm looking to buy too. For me and my wife, I normally go alone, but with my wife now, it's now I got to think about her and take a little setup.
Yeah.
So they can be comfortable. Because for us it's easy, but for them, you don't think about it, it's a little bit, it's hard
We
to
need that little extra stuff for them, that little creature comfort.
Yeah, little creature
Yeah.
comforts,
And-
little
and-
privacy curtains that go a long way.
Yeah.
And then, I wouldn't mind using that stuff either. 'Cause
Yeah, no, and like on the last video, the
Just
last
stuff
camping video that I posted on YouTube was when we go to hill country and I see my family. Like I've done a lot of trips, and I mean not like a million, but I love camping. Like I love camping, and I've went from a tent to the other camper I had on the pickup to the pop-up camper, and that's where I'm at now. And having a pop-up camper is like perfect for taking your family. I'm not gonna take my family, and I mean I could a tent and go real simple, but it's gonna be a tough time with 2 toddlers. But when you have like a pop-up like that,
Yeah, you seem to manage really well, and the setup was perfect for you
Yeah.
guys, and the kids have fun. They like.
yeah,
They know it's like, oh, this is our house.
Yeah.
This is our home away from home. And,
I mean that
they go in there when they just want to like get away from everything.
it's their tree. It's like a tree house.
Yeah,
It's
it's really perfect.
and they're used to it because it's always there in the driveway. I let them play in it.
And the same thing can be established with a tent too.
Mm.
So like, I mean, I'm pretty sure like your kids would have felt the same way if you had like a cool tent
Yeah.
set up. But the pop up is just way like
It just makes it easier.
just way cooler.
It's
It's
definitely cool.
so more established.
And you get more overland points.
You get more.
That's the
You
most
get more
important
Instagram
point.
points, man.
Yeah.
Instagram.
That's what matters.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know what else to add on to that. Basically, just whatever you have. I mean, I think most important for sure is gas, food, water,
First aid,
first aid,
Parts,
and make sure
parts for your truck. And
parts
the
for your
tools.
truck. If you're,
recovery equipment.
So if you only have like one vehicle that you rely on, that you take camping, a good idea is that whenever you work on that vehicle and do any kind of like work on it, is the tools that you use to do that job, keep those tools separate. And every time you do a job, whatever like new tools you need or something, kind of like keep those tools together. That way you have one toolkit designed for that vehicle that you keep with it, and it's and like you don't have to carry the 18 because you're never going to use it.
Yeah. Something like a tool roll would be nice to keep in
A
handy.
little box, little ammo cans work really good. Just strap them down.
we have another question from Christian. What is Chip Foose fixing in the background?
Ooh.
Chip
He's-
Foose? You never
he's-
Overhauling?
He's adding horsepower here, baby.
You never watch Overhauling?
He literally watched an episode of Chip Foose with an FJ40 and then sent it to me, or was talking about it, and I was like, "What episode is that?" And then I found it.
You guys never watch Overhauling?
He
No.
watched
I've seen
it.
one episode.
Not nice, sir.
Yeah, I don't
Anyway,
do
it was
YouTube.
a good episode.
What are
It's
you
cool.
doing, John? Explain.
I have no idea, guys. This is the end of Nomad.
Wow. So what's going on is the pickup is getting trying to make the pickup great again by bringing it back to its former self at one point before I took over it. And
No, I think it's had a good life with
no,
it.
it
I mean, it could have just sat somewhere and it's
Yeah.
had some cool adventures.
oh,
you know?
it's had a lot of great
I
memories.
think you give it
Yeah.
too hard of a time.
Well,
You know,
I'll
people,
hug you and we blow up.
the pickup is getting some maintenance, and I asked John to do the head cover gasket,
Valve
valve
cover
cover.
gasket.
Sorry,
Head cover.
head
I get all mixed up here. Yeah.
Please no.
He's doing that, and
He's not a mechanic.
he's doing some. Yeah, I'm not.
So-
but I mean, at least I'm learning.
So what's really cool is that John ran into some issues because other people, well, I don't know how many people, but a lot of people have worked on this truck,
yeah,
and bolts get lost and mismatched, and random bolts get put in places. So when he's taking it apart, it becomes a headache because there's these random bolts that's like he's showing me. He's like, look, this is not long enough, so they're not doing their job, which is probably why it's leaking everywhere.
yeah.
Beforehand. And so what's cool is that Isaac did a 3/4 swap, and we still have his old motor. So we're able to have all these parts just there, like our own parts store that we can just go and just harvest these parts and bolts that we need and bring them here and, put stuff on. So it makes it really convenient to have that. So it's pretty cool.
So
Yeah.
much for rebuilding it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, let me give you a real
But you can find
quick,
them everywhere. pretty
quick
much.
rundown on the pickup. Like I've had the pickup for almost 10 years. I got it senior year in high school, and the engine has been rebuilt once, and by a good friend of mine. He owns a shop, but what happens is that a lot of his guys worked on it, not him. He's a great mechanic, but I would say his guys kind of suck and they're lazy, and a lot of stuff.
Hey, but you know what? I'll give it this though. The engine's still kicking and doesn't have any like knocks or anything. So the rebuild was good. It's more of like electrical problems maybe, and it kind of exterior issues.
Yeah, and
nothing really internal has gone wrong because these motors are really solid inside. So even the worst of people that do work, it still ends up okay. It's just
a real testament to a bulletproof 3.0.
Yeah, it's basically a 3.4 just with a different head.
So, anyways, John's just doing maintenance on it. Basically, it has a really bad oil leak, so we're trying to address that. But yeah, that's what John's doing over there in the back. He's trying to finish. Poor guy's real.
But yeah, these trucks seem really hard at first, and I remember like the day that he had to first take off his intake before I even had a 4Runner. We were really intimidated by it. We were like, oh my gosh, so we don't know what the hell's going on. Like, we don't know what to take off. But then once you take it off, it's like you realize like, oh my god, it's just super easy.
Yeah,
it's just about like.
It's because there's like 1,000,001 wires and vacuum lines that go to like.
Yeah, the vacuum lines can be scary, but I mean, all the information's out there for these.
Yeah. So just maintenance.
That's all vehicles. Like someone's been there, someone's done it. If it's not a 2020 vehicle, you know, someone's been there, someone's done it. The information's there. You just got to find it.
Yeah.
Realistically, the 3.0 kind of trained me for the 3.4.
Yeah.
Because 3.4 is just so much easier.
Yeah. But just maintenance on the pickup. I mean, there was like so much wiring in there. I took out. I kind of cleaned out. I cleaned the engine bay, but there was a lot of wiring, just excessive from all these lights I used to have in the past. But it's been. I kind of enjoyed it cleaning it over the weekend.
So much nicer.
It's a lot nicer. Oh, there's a new bumper. I don't know if you guys can see that new bumper on the Nomad. It's what is it? Trogear clone bumper. That was made by John's brother.
We're gonna get sued now. We're not selling these. You can't get sued for copying.
No, so it's got a new bumper. I threw some Amazon little pods on there to make it look nice. I still need to wire them, but
they're zip tied though.
He needs a winch
zip ties already, so that's half of the work.
So yeah, we have your old winch that I'm kind of curious. It's kind of like seized up. He never really used it. He had it there and he never needed it because Tacoma. Why would you need a winch?
Wow.
But anyway, so that winch is like seized up, and I kind of want to like take it apart. I've never taken a winch apart and try to like fix it. Maybe it's something easy.
Have fun.
Some WD-40.
All that.
Just grease everything up.
Have a winch, basically brand new, just a little sun.
Change that line.
Spray a bunch of WD-40 in a bucket and just let it sit in there for a weekend.
I think it's worth a shot, at least to experiment and take it apart, since you don't care about
it. Cut it in half.
Absolutely.
Cut it in half. Put some synthetic rope on that baby. Be good.
We actually
Massage.
Ryan Rocha, thank you for joining Patreon.
Heck yeah.
Also, we got one more question from Sharky Media. Let's see. Question. Hold on.
Cool name.
Let me get to that. Question for Isaac. What's a must-buy item to make swap easier besides harness? Gathering up parts for my 3.4 swap.
Your header?
Yeah, the crossover pipe. The crossover pipe is a must unless you could fabricate your own. Then I wouldn't really worry too much at that point. For the 99 plus models, they do come with a different kind of manifold. So, California 99 and 2000 and up come with a different kind of manifold. And I want to say 98 and non-Cali 99 and below come with a cast iron. Most of the websites do make the crossover for that one. And I want to say Toy Only Swaps started doing the one for the 2000 up or California emissions manifold.
What were the biggest issues that we encountered in the before? I want to say the hardest thing that scared
drill
me.
Bit.
So we have a good drill.
That special guide, even though if you end up with the ones that have that pre-drilled hole, supposedly you can just knock it out. Mine didn't knock out like everybody says it comes out so easy, supposedly.
For the dipstick, right?
Yeah, for the dipstick. My pre-drilled hole, it had like it ended up, I guess, being seized or something like that and snapped. So I still had to end up drilling anyways.
And then we had to like carefully drill it to make sure, like, are we drilling just the part that was in there, or are we drilling the block? And I remember it was really intense. I was like, man, I don't want this guy to have like a oil leak down here. It's so low to the oil pan. I was like,
hardcore
we were
misread
just
oil.
Wait,
we were
Isaac,
like, check it. Okay,
was
it's
that
good.
like your first time like doing something like that complex?
Yeah, first motor swap, first 5-speed swap ever. So I wouldn't say the 3.4 swap or 5-speed swap is like a headache. I would say though an extra set of hands does come in handy for the times for like moving things around and getting.
Another thing that's important that it doesn't necessarily pertain to a 3/4 swap, but to all aluminum motors in general. Because when I rebuilt my 3.0, helicoil, look it up, kind of get familiar with it, because if you happen to strip out threads on an aluminum head part or something, anything that has aluminum threads, you can tap it for a bigger size and rethread it, and you put this helicoil in, and then you can use the same size bolt. And that helicoil is really strong. I use that, and then on 3.0s, there's going to be a ton of times where you need helicoil. I'm pretty sure the same for 3.4s. They have aluminum everywhere, so that helicoil is going to be your best friend. So get accustomed to it. It's really easy to do. You just got to drill, tap. That's it.
People say they're stronger than factory.
Yeah, the helicoil is
threads.
nice. Even if you don't need it and you just want to prevent from like a future issue, you can helicoil in.
It's something
that
that you
have really nice strong threads.
And you want to have the kit handy because I mean, whenever you're doing a motor swap, 2-3 in the morning.
Yeah, so that's
Nothing's
something.
gonna be open.
That's something that when you're working on something, it's like, oh, I wish I had that thing there. You could just get it done.
And it's cheap
on your
enough to
way.
just have
just
around.
So back to that question. 3 things. 1, crossover pipe, unless you can fabricate your own. Make sure you get the correct one. If not, you could always just swap the manifolds for the cast iron ones, or vice versa. 2, the drill bit guide, and then also
that guide was really nice.
The rear sump conversion. I didn't have the guide.
You didn't have it?
I didn't have the guide. We did it by eyeball,
No
which
wonder.
was
The guide would have been nice.
It would have like saved.
I was like,
us
a guide?
headache.
That sounds super nice.
So yeah, that and the oil sump conversion. If you got the 3.0 4x4 pan, it should just the pan converts over to the 3.4 just fine. That way you could mount it up just fine using the stock motor mounts. Only thing you need to do is purchase the sump conversion, so it just turns the sump around so it fits.
And get a sheet printed of all your torque specs. That way, when you're working on it, you're ready to go. Because there's times where I'm pretty sure you got lazy. I was like, hey, what's the torque spec on your oil pickup? And you kind of just winged it. You're like, I think that's tight. That's good.
Oh yeah.
So we definitely didn't torque that on his motor.
Didn't torque anything. Just made
But
sure.
like, that's something. If you had the paper there handy, it's like, dude, you're more than likely to torque it and just not have to worry about it. So
Yeah, just made sure it was like real tight, not tight enough to strip, not tight enough to snap anything.
it's
Just,
just
like it's there, it's not going anywhere.
they're really small bolts, so you kind of
yeah.
like,
Not too tight. Damn. Oh, vacuum line diagrams. 3.4 swap page. Kind of do your little research on there. They got a lot of vacuum line diagrams. That was a big head scratcher when it came to the swap. They're really easy to read. The only thing is, because it's a different motor, I was used to seeing vacuum lines for the 3.0. So when I went to the 3.4, it was kind of like figuring out where specific lines go, because it's real easy to cross the lines for the charcoal canister for the 3.4. I mean, you can still
you
run
also
the 3.0
need that.
one.
That's like a whole unit. That charcoal canister thing, you're gonna need that whole big piece. So source that for sure.
I mean, you could delete it, but you're gonna run the code, and your truck's gonna run super rich.
Yeah, I would just throw it in there. It's such an easy thing. You just make a little simple bracket to bolt it down or zip tie it. I think we had zip tie it like temporarily, and then get someone to make a bracket if you can't make a bracket.
They do make a bracket for it.
Oh, they make it. So yeah, if someone wants to be a real geek and make it like super clean swap, yeah, definitely those little brackets.
I want to say the same company that made the tray for my battery.
Yeah, it's stuff that's like not gonna be obviously, I don't know. Wasn't like an obvious thing, right? We kind of just ran into that issue of like, oh, how do we mount this now? We were just like,
Yeah. But other than that, that's about it for 3.4 swap. I mean, harness.
Another issue we ran into was when we put on your trans. For some reason, the bolts you bought.
Oh.
So what ended up happening with that? That's another good thing. If someone's going from auto and they're doing a manual swap with the 3.4.
You're talking about
What you did?
the freaking ones for the flywheel?
Was it the flywheel? I
It
thought
was
it
the
was
flywheel
the
bolts.
bell housing bolts.
No.
So
it
the
was
bell
the
housing bolts
flywheel.
are the same.
Yeah, the
Oh,
bell
the
housing
flywheel.
bolts are the same. It was the flywheel bolts. I ended up buying both sets because we weren't sure. And I want to say the 3.0
And you actually bought them
bolts
from
were
like.
the right size, and the 3.4 were too long.
Oh, okay. So it was the length that was an issue.
Yeah, the length was an issue. So,
All right, guys. Well, that was the last question. We're already hitting the 35 mark. Want to keep these live videos 30 to 40 minute range. So, if you guys have any other questions? Phone's not ringing. Anything else, guys? You guys want to add? Nothing.
No, I think we're good, man. I mean, unless anyone else has anything to add.
But yeah, guys. Thanks
Maybe
for.
we'll see if John wants to say a little something.
John's
How you
super
feeling
tired.
over there, John?
You could tell he's super
What?
tired, but he's not complaining. John's just like
Yeah, just,
he's a trooper.
he's a trooper. Yeah, he just goes at
you
it.
just plug him in and he just changes battery. I think he needs a battery change.
Yeah.
Dude, man, why didn't you get him an energy drink?
He didn't-
falling off my stool.
He didn't want anything. I gave him money.
In case you guys
That I
don't know
did
why
give him.
keep
I gave him
falling.
money. But
My stool is a
anyways,
tree.
guys, thanks for watching our first live episode 1. Thank you, Patreon gang. Thanks, guys, for supporting the channel. It really means a lot. And we'll see you on Patreon.
Yeah.
So
Hope you guys learned something.
yeah, and we have any have questions for next week. Okay, so
Please.
thank you guys.
More questions, more info.
More brain busters.
Yeah, exactly. So thanks, guys. Really appreciate it. We'll see you on the next one.
Damn.
Everybody
On
did it
cue.
at the same time.